County Commission meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since we have one absent, please call the roll.
Okay. Commission Chair Dean Hazelhorse.
Present.
Commission Marcy McClellan.
Here.
Commission Barbara K. Wassinger. Chair, you have 2 present.
Thank you very much. Order of business, any changes this evening, anyone?
Don't think so.
No? Prior minutes?
I think she
Phil.
just had one.
Right,
Fifth.
and I'll get those corrections made.
Okay, all right. You looked at November 5th, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
November 5th, yes.
okay.
That's the only one.
That's the only one she had, yeah.
Stand approved as presented with those corrections.
Okay.
Consent agenda, items A through F. G, I mean. A through G, it never changes.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented, items A through G.
Thank you. Issues from persons not on the order of business this evening.
How about a second and a vote
Have
on
to
that?
second.
Yeah, how about we second that? I'm used to having Barb over there. I'll second your motion, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then we're going to vote.
Let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 2-0, Donna. Issues from persons not on the order of business this evening. Seeing none. Introduction of new employees. Do we have any?
I don't believe we have any this time around. This we're just putting on as a standing item, so if there are some, we'll introduce them, and if there aren't, we won't.
Thank you very much. Next item, will terminate membership in the Northwest Kansas Solid Waste Authority in public hearing on a 5-year solid waste plan.
That'd be me.
Vern?
Vernon Reuter, Ellis County Public Works, landfill foreman. I presented you with some information on withdrawing from the Northwest Kansas Solid Waste Authority. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Looks like you guys meet very often, huh?
Yes. 0 since I've been there.
Nope, I don't have anything to
I
use.
don't have any questions. I think it's very thoroughly covered, and I would applaud you for taking this step in getting something better organized and planned.
Yep.
Let's hope that we can
Thank
go
you.
forward.
Yep.
Do you need a motion on that?
We do.
Yes.
Okay.
Sarah.
I move that the commission approve resolution 2018-12 to withdraw and terminate participation in the Northwest Kansas Solid Waste Authority.
We have a motion. I'll second that motion, Donna. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Vern.
Now we have to go with the next one. Okay, I move that the commission open a public hearing on the 5-year solid waste plan. Second,
And a second. I'll second that.
okay.
On the 5-year plan, is that gonna be,
Why don't you vote on that motion and then
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0.
So the 5-year solid waste plan is attached. It was attachment 3 to your packet. It's been prepared by staff. So what you're required to do under state law is to have the public hearing. So now take any public comments. And then once you close the public hearing, staff will then go ahead and file that with KDHE.
Okay. This time we'll open the 5-year solid waste plan. Anyone have any comment from the public? We have a nice crowd, don't all get up at once. And you're limited to 7 minutes, okay? I guess with no comment, we will close the public hearing.
Okay. I move that the commission close the public hearing and have the Solid Waste Division file all plans and paperwork as required by Kansas State Statutes 65-3401.
Thank you, Marcy. I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0. Next item, Mike Liker, Overfill Network Technician Physician, pending retirement. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Mike Liker, the IT Director for Ellis County. The presentation or the proposal before you is to overfill a position. We have a staff person that's going to be retiring in early April of next year of 2019. And in order to retain that 20 years of knowledge, that 20 plus years of knowledge that that individual has, I'm proposing to overfill, meaning hire as soon as possible so that that person can be trained by the staff member we have that's retiring, as well as the staff. I mean, a couple of his duties will be offloaded to other staff, so we'll use that time to train them as well. But the focus, we're going to focus more heavily on cybersecurity and network security. So it's important that we find somebody that has those skills and can hit the ground running, so to speak. So I'm asking that that you approve the advertisement and hiring of a staff person as soon as possible. That will create some financial impact, fiscal impact. However, our budget, the IT budget, we can absorb that cost through some savings that we've been able to garner through licensing and maintenance contracts and fees by extending those or deferring those costs until 2020 and 2021. So we can absorb those additional costs within our budget. So there really isn't additional fiscal impact to the county for that overfill.
Okay.
And you're looking to fill this by January 1, right?
Yes, if possible.
That's what your plan is.
Yes.
I know in the past, Mike, we always talked to department heads about, changing duties around and different things. Have you looked at all that already also? As far as
Changing duties.
As far as, and combining certain things in this, to make everything, maybe not have to hire somebody right away. I guess I'm not opposed to hiring somebody that early, but, I guess I'm more in favor of, say, 6 weeks before his retirement, or maybe even 8 weeks, but
Okay.
I guess 4 months seems like a long time to pay, to have to be overstaffed for 4 weeks, I guess. or
His
4
actual
months.
retirement date is April 2nd, so it's really,
Okay.
just barely into
Okay,
April.
3
But
months. 9 months.
yeah, we've pretty well shared the responsibilities as much as possible throughout the department. In fact, the security portion of that, the security duties, I've been handling myself. Unfortunately, because of the environment that we live in today with security, the requirements have gotten so vast that I can't keep up. And so our hope, as I said, was to hire somebody with the security skill set already on board, so that the training period is learning the other duties that we are currently, because we have such a small staff, we have to cross-train and be able to cover all the duties that each other has. If 2 people take off for vacation or sick or whatever, we're pretty well strapped in staffing. So we all need to know at least the basic knowledge of everyone's duties. So this person will learn all the other, duties that we have, at least how they pertain to Ellis County. I mean, IT is IT, across the different organizations, but, there are specific things to Ellis County that this person would have to learn. So, we don't have a lot of extra wiggle room for staffing.
Okay.
But,
So basically, you're looking at a 3-month position,
yes.
okay? All right. Any comment?
I don't have any comments. I think that if we can get somebody on board, we probably should. I know our policy has not been to fill, but in this case, with the cybersecurity issues, I think we better rescind that a little bit.
Are you willing to make a motion?
I move that we approve the advertisement and hiring of an overfill network technician by the IT director.
I'll second that, Donna. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Next item, request for change to functional classification of roads. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. I have a number of items on this evening, the first of which is a change in the functional classification of a part of our road system. In order to qualify for federal funding, there is a system of functional classification that's administered by the Federal Highway Administration, and a roadway must be designated as a major collector route or an arterial. Ellis County has some existing major collector routes, but the functional classification of these routes has not changed in many years. As we look at the Northwest Business Corridor project, neither of the routes involved in that are designated as major collectors, despite the fact that they carry many times the traffic of some of our roads that are designated with this designation. So we would like to make a request to the KDOT, which will then forward the change to the Federal Highways, to include Feedlot Road from Highway 183 to 230th, and then 230th Avenue south from Feedlot Road to I-70 in the collector system for federal highways. So don't believe we need a motion on that, but just wanted to bring it to the Commission's attention. We do need your signatures on the form to KDOT.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
I don't think that's a problem at all, that we don't have to give up any others, do we, in exchange?
Yeah, they actually do have a standard for how much of your road system can be designated as collectors, and so Ellis County is currently a little above the standard, actually, in terms of the road miles. So our pitch is going to be, hey, can we swap 4 miles for 4 miles? But they might actually require us to give up more like 7 miles to get 4 miles. But again, Public Works Director Bill Ring and I have looked at that, and the roads that we would be giving up the designation on are roads that carry 35 cars a day, and these roads carry about 280 cars a day. So we think it's worth it.
I think it's time.
Yep, good idea. Go forward.
Okay.
We'll sign it.
Well, thank you. Then I'll just roll on into my next item. I'm still County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes, and the next item on the agenda for this evening is employee raises for 2019. Staff is asking for some direction in the budget process for this coming year. Your commission set aside funding in an amount a little over $135,000 for potential raises, but we're in an odd sort of transitional period here. In the past, raises would have been negotiated by the union. In the future, raises will be referred to the Wage and Benefit Committee. But right now, we kind of have neither of those processes in place. And so bringing this item to you in open session to ask for some direction. There are a number of different options. The amount of money that was set aside was based on bringing certain steps in the pay plan to fruition. However, many of those changes were actually negotiated previously with EMS and Public Works units. So that would only impact about 41 employees if the commission chose to stick with that plan. If you chose to instead spread the amount of money out evenly, we could adjust all the pay rates by 1 1/3%. You could also do a little from column A, a little from column B. For example, if you implemented the pay plan changes on April 7th, you could still do a 1% adjustment to pay scales effective the end of July. You could choose to take no action at this time and refer the matter to the Wage and Benefit Committee after January 1. Or, of course, you can always retain the funds in the budget to guard against potential cuts for 2020. So I'd be happy to discuss any of those, answer questions, but just seeking some direction in case you need payroll adjusted by January 1st.
Okay. I guess I have 3 opinions on that. One means we're missing a commissioner. I feel she should also be involved in this, being she got it to this point, and talking about it. 2, we have 2 new commissioners coming on January the 14th or so. And I guess part of me feels they should be involved in that. And 3, the other part of me feels we should give it across the board, distribute it out to everybody across the board by doing it that way also. So there were my 3 opinions. Marcy?
Well, my opinion was if we were going to do something to do a mix of the 2, like start it in April and then
A and
1%,
B.
yeah, A and
Okay.
B. And then also, maybe we should take no action till January 1st, which is basically the same thing. And I don't think it's really fair to Barb because I'm sure she has an opinion on this too. So, is there any repercussions if we don't do anything?
We can table it till after the first of the year if you want.
Yeah, you can absolutely table the item. You can either direct me to bring it up again once the new commission's seated. You can ask me to refer this to the Wage and Benefit Committee once they're in place and see what their opinions are. The only thing is, just for clarification, when we publish a budget, it's still going to show that money in contingency, not in individual departments, and nobody's paycheck's going to change the first payroll in January. So that's all I needed to know.
Okay. You want to discuss at the first meeting in January, or wait till a new commissioner, or would you like to have the Wage and Benefit Committee bring us suggestions back?
Doesn't matter to me. I think that, well, the first meeting in January, we'll still be on. the
Exactly.
7th. And I think that the new people ought to have the opportunity. That's my opinion.
Okay, I guess
Unless we want to bring it up again, maybe Barb has a suggestion.
first meeting in January, Phil, if you put that on your calendar, we'll discuss it then.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is also personnel related, and on this one I would like a motion. This is corrections to the personnel policy. Your commission adopted a new personnel policy on September 10th of this year, effective January 1, 2019. This is in preparation for the ending of the union contracts. As part of that, we conducted training with departmental supervisors on the policy, and we found 3 things that don't quite work. In section 8.5, there needs to be a statement added about contacting human resources when somebody is aware of a Family Medical Leave Act issue. There's also still in that same section a reference to the former union contract. We need to get that updated to refer to a section within the personnel policy. And then in section 8.6, we inadvertently limited the footwear allowance to employees who have uniforms, but there are several employees in the Public Works Department who don't have uniforms but have been receiving the footwear allowance. There was no intent to change that. We just need to get that wording corrected. So I would ask that we make those 3 small changes to the personnel policy, and then we will distribute that policy to everyone. I am aware that the commission has also directed us to bring the personnel policy back for a larger policy discussion in January, but these are just some technical corrections. I'd be happy to answer questions.
I have one question on that section 8.5. Added about contacting human resources. Is the department head to do that, or is the employee to do that?
It would be the supervisor, so not necessarily a department head, but any county employee with supervisory responsibility who becomes aware of the existence of a potential FMLA claim should contact Human Resources
Okay.
immediately.
All right. This time I'll ask for a motion to approve the corrected personnel policy.
I move that the commission adopt the corrected personnel policy as presented, effective January 1st, 2019.
We have a motion, Donna. I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0.
Thank you. And my last item for now is related to some Public Building Commission bonds. These are Series 2013 A and B bonds issued by the PBC. And so the first question you may be asking is, well, we're the county commission. We're not the PBC. Why are you bringing this to us? And the answer to that is pursuant to a tax compliance agreement that you entered into with the PBC back in 2013. It is the responsibility of the county rather than the PBC to create and maintain the tax records necessary to maintain the tax exempt status of these bonds under federal law. So pursuant to that, the county has entered into an agreement with the firm of Gilmore and Bell, which was the bond counsel on the original issuance, to help prepare final documentation demonstrating how the bond proceeds were allocated to expenditures and to perform arbitrage rebate calculations, all of which are shown on the attached documents before the commission tonight. Per the tax compliance agreement, it is County Clerk Donna Maskus who will serve as the bond compliance officer and sign the final written allocation. So I do not need a motion on that, but I just need the commission to approve the closeout documents and authorize the clerk to sign. I'd be happy to try to answer questions about this.
I think
You're not going to read this whole thing?
you're not going to read this to us
How long do you have?
all night long. No, I think it's fine.
I think it's fine. I think we need to
Yeah, move on it.
get that going.
Take care of it.
Thank you.
Since we're done with the Philip Smith Haynes show for a while, County Councilor Bill Jeter.
County Councilor Bill Jeter, I don't have a report tonight. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Well, we're back to the County Administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Administrator Philip Smith Haynes. 3 items. First, County Clerk Maskus has noted that as a follow-up to the general election, there are some positions where maybe a write-in candidate has declined an office or something like that. So she has some things where we believe the commissioners are going to need to make some appointments. So
Draw some names out of the hat.
Thank you. Donna Maskus, Ellis County Clerk, Election Officer. The office that I'm going to address is the township clerks. There's 9 townships that the clerk is elected in the general election. And Buckeye, The most votes went to Pam Joy, and she currently serves as trustee, and she has formally declined that position. And next in line was 3 votes to Sarah Schubert, and I contacted her today per my visit with Dean to go forward, and she said she'd be glad to continue serving as clerk for Buckeye Township. Catherine Township, the top vote getter, 5 votes, went to Raymond Schmidt, and I think he gets elected every 4 years, but he has declined again. Next in line with 2 votes is Greg Schmidt, and I have left messages, and I'm still trying to contact him. And then next in line, we have 8 people that received 1 vote each. So that would be our next avenue if Greg does not accept. And then Wheatland Township, Tony Rohr got the most votes, and he's declined that nomination. So then I have 8 votes went to, or 1 vote went to each of 8 people. So one of them went to a Bal, B-A-L, Younger, and I have contacted several people, and they don't seem to know any person by that name. So
Yeah, we did earlier. I said, maybe Neil has a middle name. I'm not aware of that. It could be Neil.
So anyway, one of those that did get a vote was Ernie Binder, and he's currently serving as treasurer. I was trying to contact him today, and I didn't reach him. You know, if he would be, his name would be drawn, I would need to visit with him, just like I did with Pam, to make sure. And then 4 of them had no phone number, so it's getting to be complex to try to reach some of these people too. So if you would like to, I can put these names in a cup and then have you draw a name, and then I'll contact that person.
Okay. Sounds like the official way to do it.
Do you need a motion on Buckeye to appoint Ms. Schubert?
That would probably be good,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
do that
Mr.
now?
Chairman, I move to appoint Sarah Schubert as clerk in the Buckeye Township.
I'll second your motion. Favor say aye.
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 Okay.
Motion carries 2-0.
And Catherine, we don't have an answer.
We're still waiting on Greg, yeah.
Now we're down to Wheatland.
So you have 8 names in the cup.
Okay, you get to draw.
I get a draw. What if your fingers don't fit in the cup?
Sorry about that. Drum roll. Oh dear. Well, I wonder about that one, but it's not Neil.
Yeah, I know. It's Bal Younger got it, so.
But I am unable to find who that
And
is.
if Neil don't know him, I think we
And
draw
they're not a
another one.
voter. I mean, we've checked the voter roll.
Well, then you have to take
I think we just draw another
Okay.
one. What's the chances? No kidding. And the winner is Sid Steinert.
Okay, then I'll contact him and see if he's willing to accept.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Love that process.
So we'll probably have this back on for a couple more meetings just to get
Sure.
updates. The next item, of course, the commission and all of us are well aware of the tragic passing of former President George H.W. Bush, and both President Trump and Governor Collier have declared Wednesday of this week a national day of mourning in his memory. Our current union contracts state that whenever the president or the governor declares a holiday, the county commission needs to take action to state whether the county offices will be closed on that day. I've had a number of county staff contact me today asking whether we plan to close offices on Wednesday. So I will just ask for your commission to make a decision on that. There are a few counties around the state that we are aware of that are planning to be closed, but I think most of them are planning to be open.
Comment?
Well, it's a really busy time of the year, especially for the treasurer. I think that if I saw the lines that were in there this morning that maybe we should let them be opened. However, if, I don't, I have no preference, really.
I think we should be open.
You think we should be open?
I do.
And especially since we have a ribbon cutting at 4 o'clock at Cottonwood District for the extension. So,
I'd say,
business as usual.
I guess we're open, Phil, business as usual.
Okay, in the absence of any motion to the contrary, we will plan on being here on Wednesday. And my last,
Someone has a question.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, with the,
yes, the courts are state
You guys are
employees.
special.
so-
your state supported.
But speaking of state employees and Commissioner McClellan's comments, as a reminder, my last item were a couple of things that are going on Wednesday. One is the ribbon cutting. There's a reception at 3 and the ribbon cutting at 4 at 601 Main for the Cottonwood Extension District, and I did make sure they are planning on being open on Wednesday. And then also on Wednesday, it's the holiday season, so at 8 o'clock Wednesday morning, just upstairs in this building, the singers from Fort Hays State University are tentatively scheduled to come and regale us with some holiday tunes. So folks are welcome to get in the Christmas spirit and stand out by our beautifully decorated tree that county staff put up last week. So that was what I had this evening.
All right, county commission reports.
No. I guess you all know that I conducted the canvass on the 20th of November, and there was no significant change in the vote total, which is what we expected. Also, I attended Dr. Mason's open house at Fort Hays State University on Friday. That's it.
Thank you very much. I led a boring life, and Phil, I'd ask for you to contact Vice Chair Wassinger to take my spot for the ribbon cutting on Wednesday at 4, if you could do that. And if she can't be present, then, of course, she can. So,
Planning on being there.
anything else this evening? Phil, Bill, anybody? Donna, Mike? No? A lot of people out there smiling. We are going to officially adjourn at 5:32.